Here's Johnny.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And in this video, we're going to take a look at news of a strange casting decision. As you see from the montage there, there's going to be how can I phrase this? A remake of The Shining, but all is not as it seems. Personally, I don't think you should ever remake The Shining. I think Kubrick did an excellent job. It's not a perfect film. There are flaws. Not in the hotel, I meant, Anyway, but that isn't necessarily what's occurring. And it all will become clear. So what I will do is I will put myself down into my corner, down there, and we will take a look at this article in Giant Freaking Robot and hopefully make things clear, or at least clearer than they are now. Anyway, down I go. So here we are. This is the article, as you see, Giant Freaking Robot. Ben Stiller in talks to remake Jack Nicholson's best movie. Could Ben Stiller play Jack Torrance? I think he probably could. But it's not what you think. So we'll go down, we'll read the piece, and I'll hopefully expound upon what I was saying. Imagine it's your job to recruit someone for the unthinkable task of replacing Jack Nicholson in the iconic role of Jack Torrance in The Shining. Who could you possibly cast in the role? Well, if you somehow said Ben Stiller, then congratulations, because you're as psychic as Danny Torrance. The Tropic Thunder director and star will apparently be stepping into Nicholson's shoes for production of The Shining, but not on the big or small screen, but on the stage. According to Deadline, Ben Stiller is in negotiations to join the production of a stage adaptation of The Shining, at least 5 years in the making. The adaptation will be written by the Tony-winning Simon Stevens and directed by the acclaimed Belgian director Ivo van Hove. Sonia Friedman and Colin Callender, both of whom are currently busy with Broadway's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, will produce. The stage production will premiere in London's West End, with an expected jump over the Atlantic to Broadway. Plans for the adaptation apparently go back to 2017, but the production was interrupted by, as so many other things were, the coof. So I mean, it's very weird. It's going to be, well, at first sighting, it's very weird that it should occur in London first. What being that it's set in America and written by an American, and of course the original film was directed by an American. Although the irony was, of course, that once he came to England, Kubrick very rarely left. He didn't like travel, didn't like flying, and sort of ensconced himself in Britain for the virtually remainder of his life. And weirdly, I had the fortune of getting a lift home with him. I was in Markyate, a little village down the road, and it was at a gun club. And who was there but Stanley Kubrick? And someone said, because I'd had a few drinks, couldn't drive, someone said, "Oh, Stan, you'll take him home, will you?" And Stan said yes. What's remarkable is that I didn't know that it was Stanley Kubrick. This is a long, long time ago. And I didn't realise who it was. It was just a man who offered to give me a lift home. He dropped me off and off I went, and the next day I went into work and I was asked what I thought of Stan. And I said, "Oh, it was nice, quiet, yeah, pleasant chap." And it was then explained to me who it was, and I felt so stupid. That said, Stanley Kubrick probably thought, "Oh, it's nice not to be questioned about all my films." Sorry, Stan. But anyway, so he very famously didn't leave England. I mean, he filmed, what was it? Full Metal Jacket was actually filmed in the Beckton Gasworks in East London, made up to look like Vietnam. So I suppose that's possibly the link to London. But anyway, getting back to the article. As a strange choice as Ben Stiller may seem for the role, popularised by Jack Nicholson, it's useful to remember the 1980 film, directed by Stanley Kubrick, took a lot of liberties with the source material. In particular, in the 1977 Stephen King novel, Jack Torrance's descent into madness is a much more gradual journey. So while Nicholson is known for playing more sinister roles from a certain point of view, including one held by Stephen King apparently, that made him the worst choice for the role. Deadline reports that the stage production Ben Stiller is looking to join plans to stick closer to the source material than Kubrick's film, which, in at least one way, is both surprising and intriguing. One of the chief differences between the source material and the film is that the book included more supernatural threats facing the heroes, such as hedges sculpted to look like animals which come to life and attack them. One might assume something like that would be even more difficult to reproduce on stage than it would on screen. I don't know, I've seen some pretty fantastic stuff on a stage over the years. If ever you get the chance to go and see Phantom for a start, that's excellent. That's got some good effects, live effects on stage, In fact, the very notion of the supernatural is debatable in Kubrick's adaptation of The Shining. While in the novel, it's made clear there are powerful supernatural forces chipping away at Jack Torrance's sanity, with the exception of the psychic abilities displayed by Danny Torrance and Dan Halloran, the latter of whom survives in the book, though he's abruptly murdered in the film. Most of what happens in Kubrick's movie could be explained as being the product of one or two characters' madness. One thing was sure, Ben Stiller and everyone else is hoping is different between this stage production and Kubrick's is how the actors are treated. Since its release, The Shining has become infamous for the abuse Jack Nicholson and in particular Shelley Duvall suffered at the late director's hands. The actress was dragged through daily trauma by Kubrick, including filming a ridiculous 127 takes of the scene in which Duvall is forced to knock out Jack Nicholson with a baseball bat. Yeah, he was very abusive to the pair of them, especially Shelley Duvall. But when you see the look of terror on her face as Jack is crashing through the door, that's genuine. It's absolutely genuine. And that's why it's such a powerful film. Like I say, it's not an unflawed film, but it is a marvellous film. But now it looks like it's going to be a stage play. And I think Ben Stiller will be really good in the role. He's got the range, I think. If they get the effects right, they can do a hell of a lot by suggestion. This is the thing with theatre. You don't get it necessarily on screen. Be it large screen or small screen, you want to see it. Whereas in the theatre, it's much more atmospheric. And so they can do things by suggestion. I once saw the lady in white, and that was just so good, and yet you really saw very little, but it was really atmospheric and quite scary, despite seeing so little. Just the experience. It's more of an experience that you're involved in when you're in the theatre than you're just sort of passively sitting back in a sofa at home watching the telly or in a cinema seat, chomping popcorn. That's much more passive. When you're in the theatre, you're involved, and so they can do things. They can really ramp it up. So I think they will. Given the people involved, I think this has got all the hallmarks of being a top show, probably a sellout show, and probably one of those shows that will run in the West End and Broadway simultaneously. So I wish them well. But I'll come up and we'll round this short video off. Yes, as I said, it's just a short piece here, just sort of breaking news really. But it was just because it was The Shining, it interested me, because I do love Kubrick's work. But it's very, very odd to think that you're putting Stephen King on a stage. His writing is so sort of outre and difficult almost to... It's actually difficult to film a lot of what he writes, which is why a lot of what has been filmed of Stephen King stuff tends to be a bit weird. There's also the fact that most of the stuff he writes, he can write some really scary stuff, but the endings always seem to be a bit meh. It's not. And then I woke up and realised it was all a dream. It wasn't that, but they are. You feel the endings are weak, especially it. Both versions. I mean, the 1990 miniseries, Part 1, superb. First part of Part 2, great. Second half of Part 2, ooh, it was really bad. And I think with the remake a couple of years ago, again, the first part, scary. Second part, not scary, you know, and the ending again. I mean, it was better than the television series because you had the money involved and the effects were better, but it still wasn't get you out your seat scared, you know. Um, and it's a shame. I think you know, so often they have weak endings, but listen, that's an attack on Stephen King. We shouldn't be attacking Stephen King. God bless him. I do love his work. His books are great. I mean, the books are way better than the films. It's almost as though they're trying to wrap the film quickly. But, you know, we move on. Yeah, so I do think that this play will work. I think this play will be very good. And as soon as it comes out, I will certainly be on the waiting list to get tickets for this. I do like a good day out in London. Get your ass down there on a train. Where I'm unfortunate, where I live, I'm literally 1 hour on a train, centre of London. That was me dog. So I can be in and out, you know, and we go down, spot a lunch, into the theatre, get the matinee performance, bang, and we can be home for 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And it's just great, you know. So, yeah, I will keep my eye on this one, and if there's any new news about it, I think it's something I'll follow, and I'll do follow-up videos on as more becomes announced about it. And as soon as I can get any kind of idea of when it's going to be, you know, going out for general public to buy tickets, I'll certainly publicise that. But anyway, we'll draw this one to a close. So if you like what you see and hear on this channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications. Leave a like. Leave a comment. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and goodbye.